your windows. Lock your doors. Keep your loved ones near. Time is running out. It's here for fear.
Welcome to Ear for Fear. This is Donovan.
And I'm Rick.
And this is the podcast where we talk about scary movies or movies trying to be scary.
Today we're going to be talking about 2017's One Cut of the Dead. So this is a movie that you recommended. I had never seen it before, you had. But basically, synopsis, hack director and film crew start shooting a low-budget zombie movie in an abandoned water filtration plant. After an argument with his actors, the director decides to abandon them. As the actors wait for him to return, a real zombie apocalypse breaks out to the to the delight of the director, who insists that the camera operator continue filming. Now, everyone involved soon receives a lesson in survival, perseverance, and of course, the dangers of the living dead.
Yeah, so the synopsis you just gave is kind of tricky, right? Because that's the movie within the movie. This is not actually the movie we're watching, but it is the movie we begin with. The first 30 minutes of this movie they kind of act as a horror film in itself. Yeah. And I think it's a good horror film.
Yeah.
I think it's effective. There's very long, awkward pauses that kind of just make you uncomfortable. There's kind of like an improvisatory feel to it that kind of worked to the film's credit, but that's not the heart of the movie. The heart of the movie happens in the last 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And this is kind of where I tricked you with this recommendation. We're Ear for Fear. We're a scary movie podcast where we talk all types of horror movies. But I knew when I recommended this that that's only the first 30 minutes of this movie.
Yeah. I had never seen it. I didn't read anything about it because I don't like doing that and ruining something, So I wanted to go into it kind of blind. This one threw me off. It was cool though. I really, really liked this movie a lot. I wasn't sure. The first 30 minutes is cool. Kind of some strange stuff going on, but then after the 30 minutes, it all kind of falls into place, and then you kind of understand what was happening in the first 30 minutes. And it's weird because, I guess we're calling this a horror movie, but I don't know, is it really a horror movie?
This movie is weird to talk about. I kind of look at it as two movies in one. You've got the horror movie, and it's an effective horror movie, the last 30 minutes, so it's more like a short film. But it's doing exactly that. I think if you were to isolate that first 30 minutes from the rest of the film, despite its inconsistencies and sort of like continuity breaks, it works. I think it's effective.
It is.
I think it's tense, not necessarily horror driven, but it is tense.
Yeah.
I think you're on a roller coaster, which all horror movies are trying to do, and I think it's doing a serviceable job at it, which is so funny because the director of this short film within the film, the real direct, it's hard to talk about, but the guy making the first 30 minutes made a good film, and then if you were to then just take that and plant that into our world, which is what the movie is starting with, it's what it's actually doing. It works, it's good, but this movie is hard to talk about. Yeah, because it is only those first 30 minutes that kind of are relevant to to our podcast. But I love this movie, and I love that we're able to talk about it because it has those first 30 minutes. And I will say, when you rewatch the movie, it recontextualizes the first 30 minutes entirely. And now I find the first 30 minutes more comedy driven as opposed to horror driven. Yeah. Because you see the result of all the mistakes that happen as they were trying to make this thing.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. If I was to rewatch this again, I would probably feel the same way. Because I went into it thinking, okay, this is a zombie movie, and I'm like, okay, first 30 minutes, totally. This guy is they're filming this zombie movie. He's not getting what he needs. He's upset. All of a sudden he does like a weird like spell on top of the roof of this building with like blood, and all of a sudden it's raised the dead, so to say. I mean, it's feasible, right? I mean, it's something that could happen in a zombie movie.
Yeah, this short film is like pure B movie schlock, and it's really good B movie schlock.
Yeah.
It's not too dissimilar from Dead Alive, where it's not taking itself too seriously. It's having fun with the premise. It's throwing in wacky characters and cool kills.
Yeah.
And it's doing that all within 30 minutes with bare bone character work, but enough of it to make sense. And then enough sort of exposition and plot and, table setting that gets the job done. And, everything you need to know to have fun with it.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's effective at it.
Yeah. No, it's, it's definitely, it's definitely a good movie, and it really works and does a good job of what it's trying to do. So I guess this one's going to be a tricky one to talk about. It doesn't. I mean, it's like we said, it's not a true horror movie. The first 30 minutes is a horror movie, then the last 60 minutes is not.
Right. So this is a horror movie with sort of like a drama mix in the last 60 minutes, where it's about a director who kind of has his own small time company, getting access to sort of like a bigger project, working with two idols essentially.
Yeah.
To jumpstart one of their careers, mixed in with a family drama between the father and the daughter.
Yeah. As
the father kind of reconnects with his daughter, the way they both love movies and making things.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to talk about it, is for whatever reason, and this is in no way, shape, and form like directed towards you necessarily, but I've always responded to sort of the parent son-daughter relationship for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember a very long time ago, Cats in the Cradle, Harry Chapman. I was listening to that song like a lot, and you're like, oh yeah, is that about me and some like father-son issues? And I'm like, no, I just really like the song.
I said that. That's
yeah,
funny.
you said something like that, and it had nothing to do with you. And I think you thought maybe you were a bad dad at the time. That's not the case at all.
No, I didn't think that.
But for whatever reason, I respond to these stories, and it's probably why like Breaking Bad is so effective with me, especially when it comes to like the relationship between Mike and Jesse and Walter and Jesse.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always respond to it. And it's not only that, because there is that moment towards the end between the father and daughter, like, hey, we made this thing together.
Yeah.
And it came out kind of good. And even if it didn't, like, it was a good experience for both of us. We overcame this obstacle. But it's also sort of like this community aspect where they were given it like almost an almost impossible task to do like this 30-minute oneer for a horror film with a bunch of special effects and where a million things can go wrong. And they do, but they do it anyway.
I know.
And that's what I respond to so much about this movie. And what really sets this apart and what makes it special is, despite knowing that and then rewatching those first 30 minutes again, it works. The movie is playing this trick on you, but it's playing a trick that is genuine, and it actually fits not only within the context of the film, but isolated from the context of the film. This is a good, solid horror film, and then the drama makes everything a million times better. The last 60 minutes. It's just a very heartwarming, feel-good story. And how often do you get that in a quote-unquote horror movie?
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
It's rare.
I'm so happy we get to talk about this movie because this is honestly one of my favorite movies, probably from the past 10 years, easily. I think this is up there with one of my favorite films of all time. When it comes to films that I respond to for whatever reason, they stick with me. Groundhog Day did it. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind did it. 500 Days of Summer did it.
Yeah.
This movie is up there with those movies. It makes me feel good. I think about it every now and then. It has fun. It's super economical storytelling because it tells one story in 30 minutes and another story in 60 minutes.
and then it ties everything together.
Yeah, and it's so smart.
It is. It's really smart. When I, as I was telling you earlier, when I started watching this, I'm like, okay, zombie movie. All right, cool. It's in Japanese. As I've told you before, I'm not a huge fan of subtitles, but doesn't mean I won't watch a movie with subtitles, because there's a lot of good movies out there. I think we've talked about High Tension, which I believe is French, and that's subtitled as well, which is a great movie. But
what's funny about High Tension, though, is there's not a lot of dialogue in that
there
movie.
really isn't. So that's why it's like there's very little dialogue in it. So it's like, okay, you don't have to do a lot of reading.
Yeah.
That's my issue with subtitles is especially with the horror movie.
Well, for you, it's because you have bad eyesight.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
that's the majority of it. But a smaller portion of it is when I'm watching a horror movie, I want to see what's happening. I don't want to have to read stuff on the bottom.
Right.
But that wasn't a problem. 10 minutes in, it was fine. It was, but it was a very, I just didn't know what to expect. And it was a pleasant surprise. Like when I finished the movie, I was like, yeah, this is definitely one of the better movies I have seen in a long time. It was done really well. And I think I read they did it for like $25,000 or something. I think they had a budget of like $25,000 when they filmed this thing.
I didn't know that. That's actually kind of crazy.
And it made roughly, I think, worldwide like 30 million.
That's amazing.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
But it was such a good idea. I mean, everything about it was good. And I liked, they develop, well, really towards the second half of the movie, which is the last hour of the movie. The director, and I'm sure I'm gonna butcher this, but director, is it Higurashi? I'm sure I'm saying that wrong.
Is there a G in there?
Yeah, there's a G in there.
Higurashi.
He's the main character. He's, I'm thinking at some point he was probably a legitimate director, and then who knows, maybe over time he just started taking jobs and just for paychecks, and maybe along the way he lost sight of his art. I think that's kind of conveyed a little bit. And I think at some point his daughter, who's now older, I don't know what she is, she's somewhere, I'm going to say 18 to 24 or something like that. It's probably accurate. She seems to have lost maybe respect for him along the way, because he's probably taking shortcuts and is, so.
Yeah, like he's a workman's director. He just, he's like a crewy director. He gets the project, he does the project, he moves on to the next one. Yeah. He's just doing it kind of for the money. Yeah. He's doing commercials. Like the artistry is lost.
Yes.
And if movies are just so pedantic and almost obnoxious, where we need our art in our movies. We need our movies to say something. Yeah. And the daughter is wearing a whole bunch of t-shirts without the movie, presumably from her favorite movies.
Scarface, The Shining.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are the two big ones.
Yeah.
She clearly is a huge movie nerd.
Yes.
Probably specifically for American cinema. And I don't know if that's like a cool thing in Japan. I don't know really either. Like American films.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, it was cool to see it.
But yeah, there's definitely for her, because as you get older, you just need the paycheck. And he has a family, right? Yeah, he has a wife who also worked in the industry at some point, and a daughter. And there was probably a point in his life where he was like, well, I can try to do something for my art, or I can just get the steady income. Yeah. The guaranteed paycheck. Yeah. And so that's probably what happened. And then over time, the daughter just kind of grew up with movies she loved, and then saw that her dad were just making these cheesy commercials. Yeah. Because there's I think there's something that comes on, they're watching the television and something comes on that he did, but she's quick to turn the channel to something else because she's almost in a sense unimpressed or maybe disappointed of what he's putting out. Yeah. And we find that she doesn't actually have crew jobs. So she is working in the industry too. Yeah. And she's trying to get a child actor with no experience to really tap into her emotion and be method and please just perform art for this small project. Yeah. And then she gets kicked off for it. Yeah, because she wants the girl to cry instead of using like Yeah.
What was it, like drops or some sort of eye drops or something, just to fake the whole crying thing, you know?
Yeah, so we know she's very passionate about the
Yeah.
arts of film,
Yeah.
you know. So, and again, we talked about this last week in our episode on Drag Me to Hell. This movie is very economical. In reality, this movie is 60 minutes long, and it's introducing about a cast of like 10 plus characters, and
Yeah.
we're only getting a couple lines from each one as we're introduced to each one.
Yeah.
That it will then set up and pay off later on. And it does a very, very good job very, very quickly.
Yeah.
We know one is an alcoholic who kind of drinks because of, well, we don't really know why, right?
No,
to
he
calm
did-
down his
he-
nerves
no,
so
he-
he can hold the camera.
I think he does it though, because I think something with his relationship with his daughter. I think something had happened there where, or maybe he was drinking to be able to spend time with her. Maybe it was a relationship or maybe there was lack of a relationship there, and he was trying to basically reconnect with her, and maybe the drinking was to get the nerve to do it. I mean, he seemed like he's not super old, but older than the rest of the characters.
I know he gives the excuse that he doesn't shake when he drinks, and then that presumably led to him drinking a lot, it becoming a problem, that then being an excuse to not have rights to see his daughter. He got rights to see his daughter. The one time he got to see her, he got so drunk because he was so nervous that he then missed that date.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is a problem that he has, and that will inform the film that they eventually try to make.
And it's so cool because all of these, when we're watching the first 30 minutes, I'm sitting there and I have questions. I'm like, this is a zombie movie. There's someone filming. Why aren't the zombies going after this person? And why is this particular zombie acting all crazy? Well, it all starts to make sense down the road when it all ties in. I'm like, okay, that makes so much more sense to me.
Yeah. I forgot I was having these questions too when I was first watching it, because the movie just like, it's just so weird. The movie moves so fast, and you know this movie has a runtime of 90 minutes, and you're like, well, 10 minutes has passed, but like half the cast is already dead.
No.
So how does this movie last for another 80 minutes?
I thought you were playing a joke on me when I started watching this. I'm like, okay, she's just basically has killed all the zombies, and it's 30 minutes into the movie, and I'm like, okay, the joke's on me. This is a short film. I didn't look up anything. So, okay, cool. We'll talk about a short film. And then I'm like, okay. And then it starts to develop all the backstories with the actors and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. The movie plays an awesome trick on you, and it works.
It's like, it's like this movie's, if you dissect it, it's 3 parts, right? You got the first 30 minutes is this kind of zombie apocalypse thing going on at this facility.
Yeah, it's the film that they made.
Yeah. The next 30 minutes is, oh, hold on a second. This is an actual television show that they're doing, right? The premise is to shoot all this in one take, which is just crazy to think about.
Yeah, we get the pitch, and then they have to make it.
Yeah, so
right? We're introduced to all the characters and all the setup and everything.
Yeah, so that's 30 minutes, and then the last 30 minutes is them actually shooting this thing, and everything that could go wrong does go wrong, but they somehow keep it together and actually put out a really cool film, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty
that's what I
cool.
think.
I mean, absolutely. I would definitely watch it.
Like this
and
movie,
I did.
This movie is so good that I wish we almost had like a whole TV show around this idea, you know? But this movie is so special because it does those 3 things all in 30 minutes each, and it all ties it all together really, really well. I just want to spend time in this world and these characters, or with these characters, just because in the small amount of time we stay with them, is I learned to really like them.
Yeah.
I love the mom. I love that she
She's full of crazy to her. She's full of craziness to her.
Yeah, she is. She takes her job super seriously.
Yes.
But you know, she just she was kind of like she got banned from making movies, and then she was kind of like presumably a house wife, or like just a mom.
Probably is bored, watches TV all day, has nothing to do, and trying to come up with hobbies or just anything to just, I don't know, kill the time.
Which then informs the short film with these wacky little like vignettes or whatever you want to call it, where she's doing pom, as a way to disrupt any would-be nade-doers that come to attack her. It's so fantastic. Like it's hard not to gush about this movie, and I'm so happy we get to talk about this movie. But yeah, where should we start? We've been all over the place.
Oh man.
So let's just talk about the first 30 minutes really fast.
Yeah.
There's not much going on. We've already talked about the setup at the very start. But
Yeah.
the fake film within the film, or the film they're making within the film.
Yeah.
Zombie movie.
Yeah.
Crazy director who goes to a really haunted location where they did scientific testing to see if they can actually make zombies. They just say revive the dead though. And then because he's not getting the performances he wants, he's not making the movie he wants, he does a blood ritual to juice up his film.
Yeah.
And then he films everything as everyone starts to die amidst actual zombies attacking them.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. And then we sort of lose one character one by one. So yeah, it starts with the director being very upset, very passionate.
Yeah.
And not getting what he needs. They go upstairs. And now this is where the film becomes very interesting for me.
Yeah.
Outside of the really good acting from the director, which is Higurashi playing a character for a role he didn't actually practice for. He just knew the part because he wrote it.
Because he wrote it.
Right?
Yeah.
But talking about specifically within the film, we get one crew member going upstairs with like a bucket of fake blood.
Yeah.
Maybe real blood.
Yeah. I just assumed it was a prop.
Yeah. And then he goes upstairs and we'll find out later he's got like some summoning circle with a star in it.
Yeah. Some demon things and,
some like doom
satanic thing that you see in all these. Well, and more so in the movies in the 70s and 80s, there was a lot of that, circle, star, You
see that in Doom a lot too. You don't play Doom, like the recent Doom games, but you see that shit all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
So like, the movie's already kind of making you a little unsettled because of how passionate and how angry that director was. He's like physically abusing his actors.
Yeah.
Slaps one of them, gets up in the face in the other one. And now they're kind of reeling from that like emotional abuse, go upstairs to take a fiver, and then they talk amongst themselves. And the makeup person is talking to them. And then it just kind of goes on and on.
Yeah.
They get the exposition in where they say, oh, yeah, this facility was a water facility as a front.
Yeah.
But really, rumors be they were trying to resurrect the dead.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But it just goes on. And there's a lot of silence and a lot of awkward pauses.
Yeah.
And it's really, really effective. Like, it's unsettling because movies move.
Yeah.
They line, spectacle, plot, whatever, line. It's that's how movies move. But this movie just sits with the characters in an awkward silence.
Yeah, it is like you said, it's awkward. And you're just kind of going, okay, well, whatever, that's just part of the movie, and they're making conversation, and maybe they don't know each other, so they don't know what to say. They're asking kind of random questions about hobbies and this and that. And I don't know. I mean, I didn't really think much of it. I felt how you felt, but I just kind of chalked it up to whatever.
See, but when you first watch it for the very first time, you think it's an intentional decision by the filmmakers, that they're intentionally doing whatever they're doing here to make you unsettled. And for some reason it works.
Yeah.
And I can't explain it. We will find out later on is that things were going crazy wrong in the background and they were telling the actors to buy time.
Which was just great.
So when I rewatched it, I found that scene both, and I feel like you need to see this movie twice. You just have to.
Yeah.
When I rewatched it for the second time for this podcast, I noticed that I was not only feeling unsettled like I was the very first time, but I also found it deeply, deeply funny. And not a lot of movies can do that. The closest we got was like Dead Alive and Drag Me to Hell, where like I'm kind of like cringing and laughing at the same time.
Yeah.
This one was making me unsettled and making me laugh at the same time because I'm totally in with the fake film and buying the world, despite its like inconsistencies that we'll get to as we talk more about this movie. And then of course all the context you get.
Yeah.
When we find out that the movie is a project gone awry.
Yeah.
Or haywire.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the first thing that happens. So what happens after that? We get our first zombie introduction, right?
Yeah, we get the one guy, and again, I don't forget his character's name. The kind of the drunk older guy. he leaves to go do his thing. Then he bumps into one of the crew members. The crew members thinks he's joking around, but no, he's really zombified. I think he attacks him.
Well, the first thing he does is he vomits on him.
He vomits on him, which at first I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's possible. I don't know. Maybe it was, at first I thought it was like maybe he was foaming at the mouth, and it happened so fast.
Or it was like zombie spit
or something, hey, I mean, who knows, you can, I know there's like a formula for zombie movies, but you can kind of do whatever you want. And maybe that's what they were doing. I don't know. It was foam or something. We come to find out, of course, it was vomit
from being really, really drunk,
really, really drunk. But he attacks the guy. I think he takes his arm off, right?
Yeah,
then they come through the inside of the building. They're hearing like commotion and stuff, and then I think don't they see the arm come?
And the arm is flown into the facility.
Yeah,
they start freaking out.
It's flown at the facility, and they're freaking out. And do they get attacked at this point?
They're about to be attacked.
Yeah.
So what happens first is, I believe the body of one of the crew members, the guy who got his arm ripped off, falls into the building as well.
Yeah.
And then the director comes in and starts shooting everybody, right? I don't quite remember.
I think he probably is. Yes, I think he is shooting.
And then he tries to go on a spiel saying, blah, blah, blah. I was trying to write a movie. Turns out I found this place, and now I'm just making weird shit happen so I can make like a really, really good movie.
Yeah, like he had read something online, and you could do this. And
while he's going through this exposition dump, he's the sound guy, the guy in the yellow shirt, is just kind of chilling there on a box. And then he gets up to leave the facility. And the director's like, whoa, what are you doing? There's zombies out there, bro.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's up with this guy, but he knows he needs to get the hell out of here for some reason.
That's the shorter guy with the stomach problem.
And so he leaves, and then presumably attacked off screen by a zombie.
Yeah. That's what we're made to believe.
Later on in the film, like in the film, we find, well, whatever.
Yeah.
The last 16 minutes, we find that the actual actor playing this guy has like a issue with water between hard water and soft water.
Yeah, he gets
and
the
hard water will give him poop problems.
Yeah, he gets the runs.
And so he accidentally drinks the wrong water, and then that's why he needed to go poop.
He needed to leave.
And so
that's hilarious.
Yeah, this movie is so good. It's doing all this really funny stuff. And so this is like when we talk about the last 60 minutes, this is another problem that comes up that they then have to deal with and restructure the film on the fly.
Yeah.
But it's like, you could like, when you're watching this for the first time, it's like, this guy's just kind of going crazy. He's freaking out. So we're just going to leave the facility and take his chances. He's not going to take his chances with the crazy director. He's just going to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
So it works.
Yeah, it does. It makes complete sense.
And that's what's so cool about this movie is these guys who had this impossible task are making a sensical film. Even though there's some weird stuff that happens in it, a sensical film despite all the shit that goes wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of this movie is it presents to you the finished product first. It makes you realize that it does work. And then it does the setup to realize here's all the things that can go wrong. It makes them go wrong the last 30 and say, you've already know how this goes. You know it works. They did a good job.
Yeah, they did.
I love this movie because it's already told you that it's already given you away the ending.
Yeah.
You know their work is worthwhile.
Yeah.
I love this movie so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so that guy dies off screen.
Yeah.
He turns into a zombie. They're kind of chilling in the facility at this point, not sure what to do. The makeup person goes and does a little bit more exposition, I think, saying that, you can't, there's no cell phone signal here.
Yeah.
And then there's like a zombie. For whatever reason, they have to go to another door.
The other side of the building, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're doing so cool camera stuff where they're like going down the stairs on the opposite end and we're following them on the other side. And they get to the door. The poop guy comes in, the yellow shirt guy. And, the makeup person has the axe and beheads him.
Yeah.
After like a small scuffle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really cool. She like the makeup person at this point is kind of going crazy. Like, she's really into this decapitating zombie business.
Yeah, I think she even tells them to to make a run for it, and she'll take care of some other zombies, I think. Right?
Yeah, like she's ready for the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got the axe in her hand, and I think after she decapitates the one zombie, I think, don't they run to the vehicle outside?
Yep.
They get inside. Of course, they realize there's no key.
Yeah, and then like one of the characters is like, oh yeah, Higurashi has the key. It's not Higurashi. I forget the name. I remember the name because the zombie of that person immediately shows up.
Yeah,
and it's just like this cool little joke.
I know. I don't remember. It was
this guy has the key, and then the guy with the key who's a zombie shows up at the door,
and he has like a bag or something.
This is the same guy who got his arm ripped off.
Yeah, he's kind of like I'm not gonna say nerdy guy, but I think he wears glasses and super skinny, and he's the one who gets his arm ripped off, and he comes and basically attacks them in the vehicle. I think they start kind of I don't know, fighting or whatever, and they end up outside of the vehicle.
Like the camera hits the ground and it just stays on the ground for a long time,
and you just assume at this point that
like it's a stylized shot.
It's a cool shot. It's a really cool shot because
it's on the ground. It's a struggle because they're essentially on the ground themselves fighting to get their way out. Like it feels intentional. Yeah. It feels like there's motivation behind the shot.
Yeah.
But it turns out, the camera operator just has back problems. And
which is hilarious. I just assumed he got attacked or something.
But that camera guy doesn't actually exist,
No, I know. That's what's crazy though, because you think there is a camera guy. It's
because the director even points out
you keep shooting. You keep shooting.
But they don't actually exist. And that's because they're telling the people behind the cameras, do not cut.
Yeah.
Do not stop.
Yeah. It's crazy because then
it unsettles you. It takes you off balance.
Yeah. Once that happened, and then the camera just sat there for a little bit. I'm like, okay, maybe that the guy that is filming this film within a film, he got attacked by the zombie. And then all of a sudden the camera starts going again. I'm like, okay, well, he's okay. Maybe he got knocked out. He got up. Who knows? Whatever. But then it started to take on a different feel.
Yeah, there's like zooms and stuff. And that's because there's a different operator with a different sensibility.
Which we find out later. And they're going down this weird, like, what is this hallway down below? And and it literally looks like an outhouse, but when she goes down the stairs, it's like this humongous facility, and she's going down
like a giant hallway, like cement, but it's like out in the middle of a field. It's weird.
But then she starts to get attacked by the one zombie. Then there's another zombie coming, and this is the zombie that when I watched it,
he's doing like weird dance moves almost.
Dude, crazy karate looking stuff with his arms. I'm like, okay, zombies don't move like that. What the hell is happening here?
Yeah. And I love this because it's making you ask these questions.
Yeah.
Every second.
Yeah. I mean, you do. You ask all these questions, and then of course we find out later on. But I mean, so the girl's being chased. Her kind of love interest, co-actor in this, comes and finds her. They start running some more. They get back into the building, of course. And there's that kind of real intense scene with
the makeup person,
the makeup lady, and
who has the axe still.
She still has the axe, and I forget the line she said, but
she says, "Calm down," and then she says, "I am calm, very calm,"
or something. Is
that what you're talking about?
I thought she said something. I'm dead calm, or something. I think she said dead calm.
We probably had a different subtitles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. But I think in mine, because I remember thinking of a movie I think that came out called Dead Calm, but
yeah,
I think she said I'm dead calm, and it was like this so kind of weird,
like a joke
seriousness to her. Though, like, did she go crazy a little bit? And then she looks down at the girl. The girl's looks like a cut or a bite. And she's thinking, okay, well, in all these movies, you get bit or something, you're getting infected. So let's take care of this now. I'm going to assume she wanted to cut off her foot. Mm-hmm. Girl starts running away. She starts running after her,
Yeah. And then we get Palm. We get Palm in the background. Now, the camera isn't quite looking at her.
And I don't remember hearing that in the first 30 minutes. But of course, we hear it later on.
Yeah, because it's not like on camera, and it's kind of like in the background as the camera is following Chinatsu. Yeah, I love that so much. It's so funny. Yeah, and then so that she's trying to attack the actor who in the film is called Chinatsu, I think. And she follows her all the way up to the rooftop. And then as the makeup lady with the axe is following her to the rooftop, the zombies come out and she literally jumps kicks both of them to the ground.
Yeah.
And I find that so funny.
Yeah.
And then they get to the top and Cow, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, spelled Kou, meets them up there and there's a struggle. And then the male actor, Cow, presumably gets the axe away from her and, hits her in the head with the axe and she dies.
Yeah.
And then there's like this, as that's happening, we're not seeing that action. We're just watching the Chinatsu, the female actor, react to it for about 90 seconds. It's a very long time where she's just screaming at it and looking at it.
And while you're watching, it's like, okay, well, some of it just didn't feel right.
It's going on a little too long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a really long time. I'm not feeling comfortable right now, so it's probably working. But I don't know. It's like the movie's just making you ask these questions back to back to back because it's just so weird.
Yeah, it is.
And it works.
Yeah.
It just works. And it's such a great trick the movie pulls.
Yeah.
And so now Chinatsu is not feeling Cow because he just killed a lady who was trying to kill her. But I don't know. She makes her way downstairs, down to the ground of the building. She goes to a shed and hides. And then she comes out.
Which watching this threw me off too.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Because there's a zombie legs you haven't seen before.
Yes, we haven't seen them before. And I'm like, okay, so it's day. It's daylight. So you can definitely see her. She's not really hiding. I mean, and the zombie comes in and I was thinking, okay, well, the zombie just leaves. And I'm like, well, was the zombie's back turned? That's the only thing I could think of. Or the zombie's blind or has the head cut off.
Yeah.
Because she is clearly right there. I mean, right out in the open. Anyone can see her. And it just, again, you're asking these questions. What the hell just happened?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, as we move along, it all makes sense. But then what does she do at this point? Does she go back up to the top of the building?
She finds another axe and she says, "Ooh, that's lucky."
Oh yeah, the convenient axe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she makes her way back up. And then I think she finds the zombie cow.
Yeah, I think so.
And now we're getting a mirrored scene that happened at the very beginning of the short film where she was not performing right in the exact same scenario.
Yeah.
And now the director comes out and says, finally, I'm going to get the fear that I wanted from you.
Yeah.
See, I knew you had a good performance in you.
Yeah.
She kills Cow, who he's a zombie at this point.
He chops his head off, I think.
Chops his head off, saying, "I love you." And then she turns on the director and goes to kill the director. And she does. And she stabs him like 4 or 5 times with the axe. There's blood everywhere. It's really, really cool. Yeah. Again, just going on too long for some reason. We don't know why she's just so pissed off at this guy. I mean, I guess there's reason for it. He created all this mess.
I could definitely, I didn't question it at all. Like,
really?
Yeah. If she's just gone through all of this and now she's taken out her anger on the guy that essentially caused it, which is the director.
You didn't feel that 4 was too much?
No,
really?
No, not at all.
First time I watched, I was like, why 4?
No, not
okay.
at all. No,
okay.
I didn't think so at all. And then I think she kind of, she walks around the top of the building. She gets she sees where this, the circle and the star is, for this, the thing that he did to
summon the zombies.
To summon the zombies. And it's a cool shot because she just kind of stands there. She's got blood all over her. She's got the axe in her hand. She's exhausted from what she just went through. And it's a really cool stylistic shot that I really dug.
Yeah.
And then we get
it's almost like she's looking at some sort of spirit above her,
Yeah, it's I've seen shots like this before. I dig shots like this.
I really like the shot.
Almost
too.
like an overhead, like a pan out overhead shot, but it was kind of grainy and I liked it. And then all of a sudden we got the credits.
Well, it says one cut of the dead.
One cut of the dead
and the credits.
And then I'm like, son of a bitch, did Donovan dupe me on this? It's only a 30-minute movie.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, and then I hear a cut. And then I'm like, okay. And then we,
and then we get upbeat music 1 month earlier.
1 month earlier.
We're introduced
I'm like,
to,
okay, all right.
We're introduced to like the same characters, but they're different people now. And then we learn after a few minutes that the studio has a crazy idea to launch the acting career of an idol, a male idol, and that's doing a zombie film, or like a zombie TV show. It's 30 minutes, one cut, and it's live.
And it's live.
Yep,
Oh
a crazy idea to get this guy's this part of his career on track.
And you could tell. I mean, the guy, he does interviews. He's okay, but then, when they start talking to him, he's just an a-hole, like kind of like I don't know. He just seems very full of himself, kind of a D-bag a little bit, right?
Very, very abrasive. It does seem to be that he cares about his image and the images, or the thing his image is attached to. Yeah. So if he thinks that this film is going to be bad, he's going to be a dick on set. Yeah. And he is kind of a dick on set.
He is definitely a dick on set.
And that's why in the opening scene of the fake movie, he's slapping him.
Yeah.
And why he's also yelling at the female actor who we learn is kind of, she hides behind her agency to hide her true feelings, and that she doesn't seem to take anything too seriously. And she's also kind of talking down in a way to him.
Yes.
By always like patting his arm and saying, thank you, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And what was she? Was she like a singer or something like that?
I think she's also like an idol.
Like an idol. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we get the next 30 minutes of this film is character work for characters that we've already seen in the fake film. And if they're actors or crew, in this case, pretty much all actors, but we see the crew side as well.
Yeah.
We get the pitch from the studio about they need to do this project.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
It's going to be impossible. And we're hiring you because you're cheap and effective.
Yeah, cheap. And that was the word average. Is that what he had said?
I have different subtitles than you. Oh. So like the motto I got was like cheap, fast, and good quality.
Oh, really? I think I got cheap, fast, and average or something
really?
like that. Yeah. Okay. Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, and yeah. And so, he seemed, I think was reluctant to do the job because he was thinking, you're crazy to do this. This is almost an impossible feat.
He was going to say no. And then when he was looking through the call sheet or, the names attached to the project, it's actually his daughter's kind of like huge, crush,
fan of this,
like a celebrity crush.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he takes the project because now he's going to get credit for his daughter or with his daughter.
Yeah.
And again, at this point, we know the daughter has a job in the industry as, as like a crew person.
Yeah.
We don't quite know what, some sort of type of assistant work.
I'm not sure what she is,
but she's good at her job, but she's very abrasive because she has a vision. And if you don't follow the artistry of what film can do, she's going to try to get the best out of you, even if that means overstepping boundaries.
Yeah, which we see her doing.
Yes, but we know she's good at what she does.
Yeah.
And this is in stark contrast to the father, who at this point is just making sort of quick work, making commercials and the like, no artistry there.
No.
And the movie doesn't explicitly say this, we only see it, that the relationship has deteriorated over the years because their love of filmmaking is now branched. One is about the art and one is about just sort of the workman-like quality of it.
Yeah.
How do I get money out of it? Just to support my family and myself. We also get introduced to all the side characters. We know one of them is an alcoholic, female idol, male idol with separate personalities.
The actor with the water.
Yeah.
The water problem.
Yeah. We get introduced to two characters that aren't in the film. Yeah. And that's the director and the makeup person who will then be replaced by our actual director and his wife who was an actor in the past.
Well, and what happened there was there an accident or
they were definitely seeing each other.
Okay.
And they came in the same car.
Was it an affair? It was an affair or something?
Probably, it must have been because that was not his baby.
Yeah, because it said affair on my subtitles. It said they were having an affair.
Yeah,
there was an accident. So basically, the actor that was playing the director and the actor that was playing the makeup woman are now are now gone.
The original cast, yeah.
And now have to be replaced by, again, because they're at, this is crunch time. They're getting ready to film this thing.
2 hours from now, they're 2 hours away from Tokyo. There's no backup actors. You can only use the people currently here on set.
Yeah. So then the director's like, okay, I'll do it. You know, I know the part. I know the part. And then I think the daughter recommends her mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
isn't that so great? The daughter just wants this to be like a family project. She knows her mom's a good actor. She wants her to act.
Yeah.
She's of age. Her mom can act now. She doesn't have to worry about her kid.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, but she doesn't know that her mom gets so into roles. She's so method that she broke a guy's arm once.
Yeah, too method.
Because she was so in character.
Yeah. She goes crazy.
She does.
She definitely goes crazy.
And that's why there's change of character within the short film.
Yeah.
You know, where she goes as kind of bubbly to super serious.
Yes. It was weird. It was like, okay, did she just lose it?
Yeah.
So
we're introduced to all these characters. We get kind of like a layout of the place, how everything's going to be shot.
Yeah.
What the story is.
They storyboard everything kind of.
Yeah. They previs everything in like a small room.
Yeah.
You know, they're planning everything for this essentially like a big stage show, but on film.
Yeah.
Broadcast to potentially millions of people.
Yeah.
You know, just for this one kid.
Yeah.
One kid who wants to branch into horror movies or something.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Because this is supposed to spearhead a whole series of movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then once we get all that set up, done in a clean 30 minutes, we then move on to the actual making of the film. And this is probably where you get to see behind the curtain of the short film. And then you get to see that everything you kind of saw was almost like a joke as well.
Yeah.
Because there's all this funny, crazy stuff happening as we see them make the film where everything goes wrong in like the worst way possible. They lose their two of their principals, right? Yeah. 2 of their actors. So they're being replaced last minute.
Yep.
People need to take shits. People are falling asleep drunk. The story is being moved around. One of the actors goes a little nuts. We have to work with that. There's all this cool, funny stuff happening, and they're somehow getting on top of it.
Yeah.
And this is where like the actual crew that they hired, they were given an impossible task. The daughter was only there because, you know, she asked the wife asked the director, you know, her husband, you know, her favorite actor is here. Her idol is here. Can she come? So she does. But then she ends up saving the day by being able to think on the fly how to reorganize the script to make it work with all these issues popping up.
Yes.
And so she saves the day. The dad saves the day. The mom saves the day. It's just like this really cool story. And then on top of that, everyone is following suit.
Yeah.
And this is like such a Japanese ideal where, you know, the community kind of supports and brings everyone together, and everything becomes better because of it. And I love that so much about this movie. So we do see that.
Yeah.
Do you want to run through this or?
Oh my gosh. Where do we start?
So the opening scene, he tells them right before they start filming is that the camera will not stop.
Yeah.
Do not stop the camera.
Yeah. Just keep going. Yeah.
And then we start, and we actually haven't seen the director perform the lines, but he kills it. He apparently improvises parts of it when he's slapping the kid and yelling at her saying, please cry. And earlier in the movie, we set up that she cannot cry on demand.
Yeah.
But when he yells at her off script, she actually starts to cry.
Yeah.
Yep. But she gets the ear eye drops anyway, probably to hide the fact that she's like actually crying.
But
so that's like our first big difference.
Yeah. And you could tell him, you could see the frustrations that as the second 30 minutes was going along and him dealing with these actors and their egos. And then when this film starts, he's taking it out on them because he's pissed off at them. He's irritated with them. You spoiled brats kind of, you know, but it makes for really good, you know, filmmaking.
It's a good performance.
It is. I mean, he gets what he needs out of them. Oh man, I mean, where do we?
It's hard to talk about.
It is
because we're kind of looking at it from 2 different angles now.
Yeah, so many different things happened at that last 30 minutes, and it's trying to tie everything together on, you know, why we saw the one zombie, throw up. It was because he used an alcoholic.
Yep.
There was a bottle that was, I think, delivered to them probably as like, hey, good luck type of thing. One of the assistants was told to hide it. Obviously, she didn't hide it well enough because he drank the whole bottle, got hammered. And so now they're trying to film with him, but he's hammered.
Mm-hmm.
And so
he's so hammered that he's fallen asleep.
He's fallen asleep. And what we find behind the scenes is the director is actually
propping
him up and moving his arms and stuff, and doing all these little things so that you can still get the shot.
Yeah, and if you remember, in the first 30 minutes, you only see like the chest and up.
Yes,
because the director is hiding underneath. He obviously throws up on the other actor because he's drunk.
The other actor's freaked out behind the scenes. He's got throw up all over, but they can't.
He's like, "Oh, it stinks! It stinks! I need a towel." Yeah.
But they can't. They can't have time to clean him up because they have to get all the prosthetics on because now he's lost an arm. And so they got to do all of that, and they don't have enough time to clean him up. So he's grossed out, I'm sure, by it. In the meantime, the one guy that wanted to leave because we thought he just wanted to get out of there. Well, he's the one that drank the bad water, not the bad water, just the water
that doesn't agree with him.
It doesn't agree with him per his email. He's getting the shits, and he's still he's doing this dialogue, but he is trying to get the hell outside to go take care of some business.
And he does. And the makeup person, like the behind the scenes makeup person, is putting makeup on him as he's crying.
While he is shitting in the bushes.
Shitting and crying. And the director is just like, the actual director is like, just hurry up, do the makeup. Let's hurry up and get on our mark.
Yeah.
Basically. And so they make it. They get there.
They do. They get there.
But this is where like everything is just kind of already in chaos, and that's what's kind of accounting for all the sort of awkward and drawn out scenes that have already happened between the fake makeup person and the fake actors, the people within the short film.
Yeah.
And that's why the improvised palm was self-defense from the wife and how her hobbies were just kind of like watching TV. And right now she's looking at self-defense videos. That's where the palm comes from.
Yeah. And that was essentially just to kill time because they were trying to improvise. And so behind the scenes, they got the person that's holding the cue cards, and it says, look, stall, do something. And that's where that awkward conversation came from, which we thought was a little awkward at the beginning, but we just kind of chalked it up, and now it makes total sense. They're trying to figure stuff out,
Yeah, but I just want to stress again, it works in both contexts.
It does.
It works when you first watch it for the first time. You don't know why it works, but it does.
It does. Yeah.
And then it works now because there's context for it.
Yeah.
And now it's funny.
Yeah.
But before it wasn't. Now it is. So yeah, she chops off, the makeup person chops off, and the reason she's so into it and so serious now is because we know the wife gets really method and into her roles.
She goes over the top. She almost there's a different switch with her. She goes crazy.
So she chops off the head. She starts beating the corpse with her foot.
Yeah.
And then she runs out saying, I will protect you guys, basically.
Yeah.
I will kick any ass. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
And then they try to go to the car to escape. and then we get like five crew members somehow tripping up and falling down onto the ground as they try to hit their mark.
Yeah, but we have to establish that. So there's two. So you have the main camera operator and his assistant, and she is throughout the second 30 minutes of the film is trying to make suggestions like, hey, do this, try this. He is dismissing her constantly.
Right. She's like, tacky is cool. Let's lean into it. And he's like, no.
Yeah. He could definitely tell he's an artist. He's been doing this a long time. How dare you tell me how to do my job? But he's got a bad back. We know, we see this through that second 30 minutes. They talk about it a lot. He has back problems. So then when all this commotion is happening by the car, he falls and throws his back out. He can't move. Well, the show has to go on. So then his assistant picks up the camera, and that's when you start seeing the whole different filming of that.
Shakier, more zooms. Yeah. And then it becomes a joke again.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was kind of weird but effective because it was like stylized in a way that
It worked for me. I was like, I would totally, I didn't think anything weird of it. I just thought, okay, it's getting a little intense. It's a zombie movie, and but no, we get two different people operating the camera now. An older seasoned guy and this young assistant or whatever, and now she's going to do her thing
because it's the one cut. It's happening live. It has to be done.
It has to be done.
So she saves the day in her own way.
Yeah.
And she trips and falls. I love, there's like this like small recurring joke where people just keep tripping and falling.
They always
that I just find so funny.
Yeah.
It just feels so real.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so like the zombies like the zombies like picking her up just so she can like follow the the actual actor running. Yeah. And then this is where like the scene cuts away, and I think we're getting more like behind the scenes stuff with the director, the producer, the wife and stuff.
The wife is definitely in serious mode. Like she
slaps the kid.
Yeah.
The idol kid.
Yes, the idol kid.
Be professional, do your job.
Yeah. So they're trying to reel her in at this point, and they're trying to use some of the behind the scenes crew people to try, and it's not working. She's doing her self-defense on everybody.
Yeah, she keeps going, boom. You keep hearing, boom.
Yeah, so let's see what happens now. What's next?
So now we're about the part where she's still in serious mode. The actor who's playing Chinatsu, the female idol, is running up to the ceiling, right?
Yeah, to the top of the building.
Yes.
Yeah, the top. Yeah.
And this is not in scripts. What should have happened is one of the armless zombie should have grabbed the axe from her and stabbed her in the head with the axe.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So now they're improvising basically the entire rest of the short film.
Yeah.
They follow her upstairs. The crew wrestles her and they improvise the Kyle as being the one to put the axe in her head.
Yeah.
And that's why she was screaming for so long, is because the director actually had to choke her out and knock her out.
He had to choke his own wife out just to knock her out because she was going crazy.
Yep. And she almost broke the arm of the idol kid too.
Yeah.
So that happens.
That's hilarious. But in the meantime, he chokes her out, and then they get the makeup people and stuff to do like, okay, let's hurry up and do this so it looks like she got an axe to the head, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But see, this was the one scene in the first 30 minutes that threw me off. I was like, what the hell just happened? When at the very end she hops up and then falls back down or something. I'm like, what was this? What I'm puzzled by this. And of course now it made sense when you see it in the latter part of the movie, is because she
regained consciousness and wanted to know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
So at this point, they're still improvising here. They make the actor playing Chinatsu go downstairs into the shed as they kind of regroup, because during that scuffle, the crane was knocked down.
Yeah.
And the crane is important because it's their final shot of the film.
Yeah.
This is the shot with the nice little bow on top.
It's a money shot, right?
Very important.
Yeah.
He needs the shot. The director needs the shot. So, Chinatsu goes downstairs into the shed. Not only she needs to find an axe, they need to do a makeshift crane. So these are two problems they're trying to solve right now.
Yeah.
They get that zombie who we'd never seen before with the weird legs. That's just a guy holding up a sign saying, "There's an axe outside. Make sure you pick it up."
Yeah, just a behind the scenes, cue card person that was hilarious. And I'm like, okay, that makes more sense than a zombie coming in and seeing her and just leaving.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. It all ties it in.
But again, in the context of that short film, like everything is just so off the wall. Like it kind of makes sense within that context.
Yeah,
it's like it's for some reason the zombie isn't seeing her, but I'm still like kind of scared for her.
Yeah,
but now it's a joke.
Yeah,
this just here's what we need to do. Let's hurry up and try to do it.
Yeah. Grab that axe that's outside.
Yeah,
but I think now is this behind the scenes where the director is arguing with the producer and the daughter's involved, and they're trying to, he's like, look, you're just not going to get this shot. He's adamant, I need this shot. But then of course
the daughter comes up with an idea of how tall does it need to be. And he's like, I don't know. I forget what he says, like 4 meters or something.
I don't remember. Yeah.
I think I did the math. It was like 12 or 16 feet.
Oh.
Right. So, and there's one thing that we missed out. So again, we've already sort of touched on that the father-daughter relationship has deteriorated over the years.
Yeah.
There is a scene earlier on after the director has talked to the actor who has a drinking problem. We then cut to the director looking at photos of him and his daughter.
Yeah.
Where they're bonding over like, messing with a video camera, drinking presumably like, I don't know, vodka or something. It's just some clear liquid.
When she was younger.
Yeah.
12,
when she
13
was like,
or something.
I thought she was like 6 or something.
Was she maybe 6?
She was really young.
She was young. Yeah.
But it was a good experience they had,
Yeah.
Again, this movie was just really good at laying down quick facts and getting good character work in really fast. But the daughter she asked the question, how tall does this need to be? And her solution is human triangle or human pyramid.
Yeah.
Yes. And so now they're just trying to scramble for time. Chinatsu has the axe. She's up in the ceiling, or
you keep saying ceiling.
She's up on the top of the building,
the roof. Yeah.
Yes. The roof. I don't know why. Whatever, man.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's late.
So, Cow, the actor with the film's name is Cow. He's a zombie now, and she needs to kill him. She does, and then she needs to kill the director. And this is where, they're still kind of buying time to make the pyramid. Some of the crew would just keep falling off. They can't stay upright.
Yeah.
And so,
which would be difficult to do,
especially holding it for like a solid 60 seconds.
Yeah. Especially when you got a guy that's partly drunk, a guy that's got the shits, all these other people that are trying to, come in and help and do this. And not to mention that making a pyramid with people is hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, cheerleaders do it all the time, but they practice it like 10 hours a day. So can you imagine trying to do that?
In just like a minute or two?
Yeah, that would be tough.
So, 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, blood. And I also love that because you never really think about this of how like the blood splatters.
Yeah.
Someone with like a tube going poof, poof, like blowing it out.
It's
we see that a lot.
It's that was done in the first Friday the 13th. I was watching this.
It's really effective.
I was watching this documentary. Tom Savini, was working on this, and this was the kill with Kevin Bacon, which is one of, I think, the greatest kills ever. And it was in the first, Friday the 13th, where he's, if I remember, he just had sex. He's chilling on the bed. And the girl probably goes to the bathroom, takes a shower, or whatever. It's usually one of those things. And this like knife or arrowhead comes through his throat, and it's such a gnarly scene because the blood starts to it almost like bubbles and stuff. And I was like, damn, that is nasty. And what had happened was Tom Savini had ran a tube up there and was blowing. I think it was either him or one of his assistants was blowing the blood, and I think it shot back at them. And so, but that's the effect that you're seeing. So we never see that stuff behind the scenes and stuff like that is so damn cool.
It's really interesting and fun.
And so then we see this at the very end of this where, you got one of the, people behind the scenes, blowing out that blood every time she comes down with the axe onto the director. It's just pretty cool. I love stuff like that.
And I just find it so funny. There's someone sitting there with like a bucket of blood and sucking it in and going boop, boop, boop.
Yeah.
So anyway, they've bought enough time. They have the pyramid. And now Chinatsu's doing her last sort of final girl walk and shot to the summoning circle. And then we get the camera handoff to the people on the pyramid.
Yeah.
And then now they get the pyramid to the top. They've made it. We have the director. And then on his shoulders is his daughter, mirroring a photo they had a long time ago.
Yeah.
And she's holding up the camera 12, 16 feet up in the air, just getting this shot for like, I don't know, like 30, 40, 50, 60 seconds.
I don't remember. Yeah, because they had to hold it for so long.
They had to hold it for the credits.
Yeah, and it was like the credits were like 15 seconds or something like that. And they were I think they were counting down in their head or something. And yeah, you're on top of this pyramid and she's holding the camera kind of in a weird angle. It's not even like you're looking through the camera. You're just holding the camera up because you're trying to get it as high as you can get it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the shot itself really works. It's a really cool shot.
Yeah, and they made it work somehow.
They made it work.
And then they make it for the full time without falling. They've completed the film.
Yeah.
Cut is called. They've done it.
Yeah,
They did it somehow.
They did it.
And apparently people like it because the people at the studio didn't even realize there was anything wrong.
No, all of the executives who were watching this, they were in their room, drinking, eating stuff, not understanding what was happening. And they're like, okay, cool. We did great. This one, this was done without any hiccups, not realizing all these problems occurred. No.
And then we get our final shots. We get the daughter and the father holding like a congratulatory, like sharing a congratulatory smile. Like they did it. Like they bonded too. The wife is looking at them also like everyone just happy. We get like shots of almost everyone in the crew. And they're all like smiling, and it's like an accomplishment. Yeah,
like this has somehow changed them from, we don't, of course, it ends not long after, but I think you get the impression that like they've all learned something from this, and as they go on to other movies or adventures, they have maybe a better appreciation of what they've done here and what they'll do in the future. Like, there's that art side of it versus it just being a business or something or a paycheck. It's like they've somehow come together and,
I didn't think about it that way, but the movie is hopeful.
Yeah.
The movie ends happily. We get the daughter giving the photo of her and her dad making, like movies or something back in the day.
Yeah.
Doing exactly what they did where she's on his shoulders. There's like an appreciation there. She also saw that her dad is passionate about what he does. He was arguing with the producer earlier saying, I need to get this shot.
Yeah.
And then she helped them out and they both did that together.
Yeah.
And then the human pyramid is they all did that together. Like most of their crew was on that pyramid, like despite everything just going wrong, they did it.
Yeah.
And I love this movie because I don't know if I respond to the father-daughter stuff or if I'm responding to the community coming together to do something together and to make something cool. And they're all better for it or what. But this movie does something for me.
Yeah.
And the movie does make me cry.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. And I've cried twice now at this movie. It's a very, I feel very good having seen this movie.
Yeah.
And not a lot of movies can do that in general. Not a lot of horror movies can do that in general.
Oh, no, horror movies don't. And this is definitely,
What's funny is when I rewatched this and we got to the end of the short film and they were doing that shot, I knew what that meant. And so I was crying then too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I haven't already seen it.
See, I hadn't. And, now next time I watch it, I might feel the same way. But yeah, I mean, this, of course, it's not the typical horror movie. So to get that at the end is rare. That never happens. But it was a cool little moment between him and his daughter. It's like they've reconnected, along the way they'd kind of went their separate ways and maybe she had lost respect or whatever. And you could tell he wanted to regain that respect from her. Like he was upset that they'd kind of drifted apart. So them reconnecting like that was huge, and they did a really cool, television show on top of that and somehow made it work and kept it all together.
Yeah. They made this thing and it was only something they could do together.
Yeah.
If his daughter wasn't there, the whole thing would have been dead.
Yeah.
Easily. The project wouldn't have happened. They would have had to cut it. They wouldn't have had two actors. No. They wouldn't have that last crane shot. They wouldn't have someone on the fly being able to solve every problem when it came to the scripts and how all the events were organized. Like this really was like their project.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of happened to be their project at the end.
Yeah.
It's great. And then we get that final shot where it's mimicking the crane shot. Except now it's a drone and it's going up and up and up. And we're just seeing all these people who made this thing walking off, presumably to the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And it just feels so hopeful in a way.
Kind of proud of what they just accomplished.
Yeah. I love this movie.
No, I did too. I really, really, I didn't know, like I had told you, I didn't read a lot about it. I didn't want to. I don't like to do that and then spoil something. I don't want to know stuff when I'm going into a movie. So I didn't know anything other than I knew there were zombies. that was it. And I knew it was filmed in Japan and it was subtitled and that's all I knew.
I'm happy that's all you knew.
That's all I knew, and I didn't want to ruin it, and I didn't ruin it. And then when I was done with the movie and it ended, I was I enjoyed it. I was very much entertained. I would in fact, I think afterwards I got off the after I stopped the movie, I did a few things, and then I called up Darren and I said, "Hey," I said, "Dude, you got to check this movie out. It's really fun. It's smart. It's just a really good movie." And of course he's not a fan of subtitles. I said, just 10 minutes in and you're used to it, and you'll get past it, and it, because, when it's all said and done, it's really about the movie, and you get, and if it all works, which it did, you sat and enjoyed a, hour and a half movie. I mean, like I said, I would recommend it to whoever. I think people would definitely enjoy this movie.
Yeah. Off mic, you told me that you actually really like this movie, and I've recommended you many movies over the years.
Yeah.
There, I have like a 20, 30, 40% average of you liking the movie I recommend. So when you told me you actually kind of like really like this movie, I was really surprised, and it made me feel pretty good that you liked this movie.
I did.
And I'm glad you got to see it. And I'm even more happy you liked it.
I am. I mean, it's not going to happen all the time because, that's just the way it goes. I recommend movies to you, and you sometimes you like them, sometimes you don't. It's just the way, our tastes get a little different at times. Sometimes they're right on the money, like with this one. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad I enjoyed it. I'm glad I watched it. You had mentioned it a couple months ago. And when we had an episode coming up, I'm like, why don't we do this one? It's perfect, So yeah, I would absolutely recommend this to anyone that's listening, check it out.
Please watch this movie. You'll feel better for having seen it.
For sure.
It's a very hopeful film.
Yeah. No, I mean, absolutely. Anything else? I don't think we touched on everything, huh?
Can I just mention again that I really like this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to do it for me.
Cool. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add. I guess that's going to do it for this week's episode. I think next week we are going to be talking about The Changeling. I think that's what we discussed. 1980. Really cool. One of my favorite movies, ghost movies, starring George C. Scott. 1980. Yeah, The Changeling. So, come back. Join us. Talk to you later. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow us at both Twitter and Instagram at Ear for Fear. You can also check out our website, earforfear.com. There you can purchase merch and stay up to date on current episodes as well as news and events. We hope you come back and get an earful. See you soon.